5 months ago, Sea of Thieves launched on PlayStation 5, making it the first time an Xbox first party title hit the PlayStation storefronts. The excitement was insane. Sea of Thieves became the most pre-ordered PS5 game in the UK, and its launch was phenomenal. Player numbers hit an all-time high, in-game events drove engagement, and unique Twitch drops captured the attention of PlayStation players. Many praised the game's unique appeal as a co-op, open-world pirate fantasy, finally on PS5. And I was one of them. I made a whole video about it. But just a month after launch, things started to go wrong. Emergency maintenance breaks happened within the first week, PS5 players experienced frequent crashes, and the game's server health reached an all-time low. Rare squandered the momentum, and while double rep, gold events, Twitch drops could keep players engaged temporarily, it wasn't enough. Rare failed to add any meaningful content post PS5 launch, and by mid-season, player numbers had plummeted. Some left due to bugs, others due to lack of content, and many due to the massive cheating problem. In today's video, we're breaking down exactly where Sea of Thieves went wrong after its PS5 launch. We'll dive into the technical issues, the frustrated community, and the creators Rare has entrusted to represent the game and their brand. I've reached out to Sea of Thieves partners and ex-partners for their insights on the current state of the game. All these creators will remain completely anonymous, but without their input, this deep dive would not have been possible. So a massive thanks to them. Following the massive surge in popularity that Sea of Thieves received from its PS5 launch, the game began to struggle in a few ways. First and foremost was the loss of momentum. With such a huge explosion of popularity across all platforms, many expected Rare to capitalize on the new wave of players. Unfortunately, they did next to nothing to sustain the momentum. While there were teasers for upcoming content like the highly anticipated Burning Blade Man of War ship, actual in-game content? It was limited. For PS5 players, the old content was new and exciting, but for returning players, hoping the surge in popularity would motivate Rare to kick things into gear, there was disappointment. There was no meaningful mid-season updates, no new content aside from double gold and rep weekends, and maybe the occasional Twitch drops. No new playable content was added until next season, which was over 2 months after the PS5 launch. Many other live service games with structured seasonal offerings offer substantial mid-season updates to keep those players engaged. Sea of Thieves doesn't. While Season 12 did bring significant changes for veteran players like harpoon walking, the new throwing knife, and the double barrel pistol, there was little point in these sandbox updates if you didn't have any new content to enjoy them with. Players grew bored after the first few fights with random pirates, with nothing meaningful to do while they waited for Season 13's Burning Blade event. To their credit, the Burning Blade was fun, for about a week. But this cycle of over-promising and under-delivering is something that Sea of Thieves has been criticized for repeatedly. And the PS5 launch followed that exact same pattern. Players once again felt like their time wasn't valued, grinding the same activities to earn gold for subpar cosmetics, while the best items were locked behind the premium currency, ancient coins. This only reinforced that the game had grown stagnant. But the game's most notorious issue, one that has plagued Sea of Thieves for years, remains: the hit reg. Despite being supported by Microsoft's powerful Azure servers, Rare has struggled to optimize the game. Though the game is visually stunning and very well optimized for a range of PCs, I give them credit where credit is due, the servers are a buggy mess. Players frequently experience lag, the hit registration issues meaning at least 50% of times bullets just don't register, and these problems are gotten even worse since the PS5 launch, with the PS5 players experiencing hard crashes almost every few minutes. According to PS5 players in Twitch streams, crashes happen as frequently as every 5 minutes. In addition to the crashing, Rare had to take the servers down 3 times in the first 2 weeks post-launch for emergency maintenance to fix server-related issues. This only frustrated the PS5 players further. After finally getting their hands on the game, they often couldn't play, just because the servers were down. To compensate, Rare offered double gold and rep events, which initially seemed like a great gesture. However, many players reported burnout after hours of grinding, only to realize the game still very much lacked repeatable content. Most players don't replay the tall tale story missions, leaving voyages as the primary option, and they do grow stale fairly quickly. While speaking anonymously with a Sea of Thieves partner, they admitted that while Rare claims to be aware of game-breaking bugs and exploits, many of these issues are still in the game, pushing more and more players away. The increased player base from the PS5 launch only made these issues more visible and more frustrating. As a result, community managers have faced increasing backlash on social media from a player base that's losing its patience with the game's instability, bugs, and lack of meaningful updates. Now that we've discussed the issues following the PS5 launch, let's take a closer look at the ever-growing frustration within the Sea of Thieves community. This frustration stems from reoccurring bugs, unbalanced gameplay changes. Sea of Thieves is currently riddled with bugs. Players can capsize ships, launch themselves off their boats at insane speeds, and even control their trajectory after being fired from cannons. Quick side note, this was written before Season 14. There is a Season 14 section at the very end where there's more bugs. And these aren't minor issues. Players who know how to exploit them gain unfair advantages. And worse, these bugs have been in the game so long, they almost feel like features. Every time Rare attempts to patch them, the bug returns in a slightly different form. Or in some cases, they just never get fixed at all. This cycle has severely undermined player trust. Each patch supposedly tested internally and then by the community, yet these issues that are glaring and so obvious still persist. One Sea of Thieves partner I spoke to mentioned the Burning Blade ship as an example. The desync and lag on this ship are flat out not okay, and the update never should have been shipped in this state. This is a sentiment echoed by many players, but at what point will Rare start listening? Especially if they're not even heeding the feedback from their own partnered creators. Rare's approach to balancing core gameplay is another major point of contention. Recently, they drastically changed the blunderbuss and attempted to alter the Eye of Reach sniper, claiming the quick-scoping ability was a bug. While it's fine to admit that this was unintended, it's baffling to players that it took them 6 years to address a mechanic that's been in the game since launch. This highlights Rare's completely misaligned priorities when it comes to fixes. Every partner I spoke with, when asked what Rare could do better, responded with game health. Yet instead of addressing these game-breaking bugs, Rare chose to fix things like the keg launch bug, an issue that didn't negatively affect gameplay. As one partner put it, it's launching a keg in the air to snipe it. Doesn't hurt anyone, but it's fixed before game-breaking exploits that have been around for literal years. This disconnect between player needs and Rare's focus has driven many players away. The recent blunderbuss changes caused one of the largest backlashes I've ever seen. Rare aimed to make the weapon more useful for knocking enemies off your boat, but it's had the opposite effect. Solo players now face even more disadvantages, and despite going through the Insider's testing program, this change caused chaos. While the proposed Eye of Reach change, which sparked controversy, never made it through. This leads us to the Insiders program. This program is designed to allow players to test updates early and provide feedback, but it operates under this strange NDA. In theory, anyone can sign up and gain access, which begs the question, why is it under an NDA at all? While most games use a PTS or public test server, Sea of Thieves hides its Insider program behind secrecy, even though it really doesn't seem necessary. Many partners shared the sentiment that Insiders doesn't provide sufficient data, and most players just AFK for an hour to earn cosmetics. One partner even suggested it should be open and streamable, and that Rare should enlist white hat hackers to test patch security. An open insiders program would allow for more proper and public conversations about upcoming changes, and provide a more accurate assessment of updates, especially the ones that affect player versus player. Instead, the current program feels more like a fight club, with reports of developers deleting negative feedback and only accepting comments on specific features. This level of control has only bred distrust, and every partner I spoke to agreed that while Insiders could be a great program, it's doing more harm than good. Rare needs to be transparent with the entire community, not just a few who sign an NDA. However, recently bugs that weren't present in the Insiders build of the game still managed to make it through to the live game? How? Well, that's anyone's guess. Another issue plaguing Sea of Thieves is rampant cheating. Cheaters harass and target content creators, exploiting the Insiders program to develop cheats on future builds. Despite the presence of easy anti-cheat, the system has done basically nothing. One of the most mind-boggling incidents involved cheaters finding a way to ban players. One of the Sea of Thieves partners I spoke to confirmed that this was the work of cheaters and not an internal bug or server error, as many players speculated. Cheaters in Sea of Thieves go beyond typical wall hacks and aimbots. It's not uncommon to face players who can teleport across the map, access unreleased items, or spawn explosive kegs on your boat. This level of cheating is insane and far too common. While easy anti-cheat seems laughably ineffective, the frustration surrounding cheaters is only amplified by the poor management of the game's social media. Community managers have mishandled interactions on Twitter, even going as far as blocking players who follow or interact with accounts that they deem as bad actors. The Sea of Thieves Partner Program. It's one of the most sought-after achievements for creators. Being a partner offers more direct access to developers, exclusive perks, and a sense of prestige. However, in recent years, the program has lost most of its original value. These creators are not only expected to make content for the game they're passionate about, but also uphold Rare's values. Unfortunately, according to the anonymous partners I spoke with, this vision is starting to fade. One partner explained, "Some users in the partner program don't represent Rare's values at all. They're just here to cash in on some Twitch drops and move on." Partner 2 shared a similar statement. Partners are encouraged to stream unhealthy hours during Twitch drops, and non-partners are encouraged to do the same just to hit partner status. And another added, "I'd love to see more collaboration between Rare and the partners. I want it to feel like a more legitimate program again." This over-reliance on Twitch drops has shifted the partner program's focus from fostering passion and creativity to just driving numbers. Creators need 10,000 watch hours per month and at least 15 hours of Sea of Thieves streams to qualify for partnership. Yet it's common to see partners who don't meet these requirements stay in the program, while non-partners surpass these metrics and are just left out. This inconsistency raises some questions. Is the partner program based on metrics or not? Occasionally, creators like FoxDie, known for making in-game item models in real life, got recognized for their passion rather than their numbers. But as one partner noted, FoxDie was removed from the program for not hitting the numbers, but they were originally partnered for their passion, not the metrics. This highlights the commercialization of the partner program, where creators are pushed to chase numbers rather than focusing on building genuine connections with the community and creating good content. The emphasis on Twitch drops and unhealthy streaming hours just leads to burnout, resulting in short-term spikes of engagement, but little long-term growth. As one partner put it, this isn't about creativity anymore. It's just keeping the viewer numbers high. This shift damages the authenticity that once defined the Sea of Thieves content creator community. The partner program was intended to show gratitude to creators and foster healthy relationships between developers, creators, and the broader community. Rare has been vocal about their commitment to inclusivity, supporting the LGBTQIA+ and other minority groups. However, the anonymous partners I spoke to revealed that some creators within the program do not align with these values at all. Several partners shared disturbing stories of hearing racist, misogynistic, and anti-trans remarks from others in the program. In a more public example, streamer Fuzzybond caused controversy by tweeting what many interpreted as an anti-trans stance just a day after Pride Month ended, later clarifying that it was meant to protect the children as a family-friendly creator. Though the original tweet was deleted, his apology remains online. Many users expressing their distrust and opinions against Fuzzy, especially Toxic Sinclair, a trans Sea of Thieves partner. Most recently, new partner Man So Wavy was caught on stream making threats of doxing viewers and bragging about his follow account.
Do you really want me to find your Facebook, find your Instagram, find everything and expose you? Do you not know how many followers I have, dude? I'll put all your fucking real information on blast. Shut the fuck up. All I have to do is find out the email attached to his TikTok account, search up his email from his TikTok account. 90% of the time, people have the same TikTok email as the same as everything.
Yet this guy remains a partner with no apparent repercussions from Rare. This lack of accountability for toxic behavior is particularly damaging to Rare's reputation. When a company aligns themselves with problematic creators without addressing their actions, it emboldens bad actors and alienates marginalized groups inside their community. By failing to act, Rare sends a message that they're more concerned about maintaining numbers than upholding their values they claim to represent. This creates a toxic environment, not just among partners, but also among everyday players who lose faith in the company's ability to foster a healthy and friendly community. Before we move on from the partner program, let's briefly discuss the case of Theb. Theb is a popular Australian Sea of Thieves creator who Rare seemed to have a vendetta against. Rare has targeted Theb with copyright takedowns on Twitch and YouTube, eventually leading to the termination of his channels. Thankfully, they were reinstated, but Rare has continued to distance themselves from him. One partner described it as Rare treating him like Voldemort, which does more harm than good, and another saying both sides need to swallow their pride and find ways to improve the dynamic. This ongoing feud only reflects poorly on Rare, as Theb remains one of the largest Sea of Thieves creators, and ostracizing them damages the potential for a healthy dialogue between a company and influential members of the community. Now let's turn our attention to Rare's communication with the community and their transparency with what's going on in the game. Every partner I spoke to agreed that Rare's transparency has declined significantly. One partner suggesting that Rare should host a town hall each season in the official Sea of Thieves Discord to allow players to voice their concerns and feel heard. Another noted they're transparent about bugs existing, but not where they are in fixing them, which only adds to the community's frustration. Many successful live service games like Fortnite or No Man's Sky maintain engagement by being transparent and proactive in addressing these players' concerns. Rare, by contrast, seems to have lost sight of the importance of clear, honest communication. Finally, let's consider the future of the partner program. If Rare doesn't make significant changes, the program risks losing all meaning entirely. To revive it, Rare could restructure the program to focus less on numbers and more on meaningful contributions to the community. They could introduce mentorship programs for new creators, encourage collaborations between partners and developers, and establish clearer guidelines for behavior, ensuring these partners reflect the values that Rare claim to hold. More importantly, holding partners accountable for their actions is critical to maintaining the integrity of a program like this. With the partner program comes Twitch drops. Sometimes these drops are open to all streamers, but most of the time they're exclusive to partners. Recently, Twitch drops have occurred more than once a month, sometimes lasting over entire weekends or even full weeks. During these events, partner viewership skyrockets, often tripling or even quadrupling, especially for those at the top of the directory. But has this created a reliance on Twitch drops? The partners I spoke to admitted it's a bit much, and that the Twitch drops team is spread thin. And this is becoming apparent, as most of the recent drops have been basic reskins or just recycled content from previous events. One partner stated, "I'd much rather have fewer but more unique drops, rather than seeing the same sets over and over." This reliance on drops creates a temporary surge in viewership, but once the events are over, the excitement fades, leaving the community wanting more. If Rare doesn't address the need for fresh and innovative content, the Twitch drops may become a crutch rather than a driver of genuine long-term engagement, and we've already started to see that happen. If these issues continue unchecked, Rare risks not only damaging the partner program, but also losing the trust of the entire Sea of Thieves community. Now, this part wasn't actually supposed to be in the video, but I got sick and I had to delay a week. But the recent Season 14 proved the inexperience of Rare when it comes to live service. Season 14 launched 2 weeks early in an inexcusable state. Most of the new features added shipped completely broken and had to be temporarily disabled. It reintroduced bugs that I had mentioned earlier in the video, such as being able to control your trajectory mid-air, but made it even easier to replicate. You literally just crouch and get into a cannon, which also makes you invincible. You're able to launch yourself out of a cannon holding an explosive barrel, and this is a real screenshot from the game. Seriously. They've brought back things that were removed months ago that were apparently bugs, such as quick swapping and wall banging, completely unintentionally. How this made it through insiders is beyond me. And even worse, Rare admitted they knew the blow darts were completely unbalanced, but they decided to launch them anyway. When Season 14 launched, you would expect the Twitch directory to be full of players playing the new content. Instead, you were greeted with a wall of people playing Words on Stream because the servers didn't go live until 3 hours after the supposed launch of the season. And the only reason people were in the directory, because of Twitch drops. While editing this, Rare have just disabled even more features. It really is just Season 13.5. In the months following the PS5 launch, Sea of Thieves has struggled to maintain the momentum it once enjoyed. What should have been a golden opportunity to grow its player base, instead, it's been plagued by technical issues, a lack of meaningful content, and community frustration that only continues to deepen. Players, both new and returning, have been let down by reoccurring bugs, server instability, and the lack of mid-season updates that could keep the game fresh and engaging. The frustration of the community goes beyond gameplay issues. Rare's mishandling of feedback, the problems with the creator program, and their lack of transparency are all factors in driving long-term players away. Cheating remains rampant even with easy anti-cheat, and despite the presence of programs like insiders, bugs and balance issues continue to plague the game. The community's trust in Rare is fading as players feel unheard and undervalued. The Sea of Thieves partner program, once a badge of honor for passionate creators, now just seems to be a focus on metrics and temporary spikes in viewership thanks to Twitch drops. While these events bring short-term engagement, they fail to address the deeper issues that the game is so riddled with, leaving the community frustrated with recycled content and a lack of innovation. Partners themselves are speaking out about the need for a rework, clearer standards, and better accountability, but even they aren't being heard. At its core, Sea of Thieves is a beautifully crafted game with unique appeal, but the ongoing mismanagement of technical issues, creator programs, and community relations has led to an exodus. If Rare wants to turn this tide, they need to focus on more than just temporary fixes. They need to improve communication, prioritize game health over cosmetic updates, and show that they are listening to the community that they've built over the last 6.5 years. Without these changes, Sea of Thieves risks drifting into irrelevance, leaving behind the only echoes of a once vibrant pirate adventure.